Welcome to our Meet the Experts film production designers panel. I'm Daniel Montgomery here with Jon Hutman from Being the Ricardos, Adam Stockhausen from The French Dispatch, Grant Major from The Power of the Dog, and Ina Mayhew from Respect. Now, the field of production design encompasses so much of the visual composition of a film. So is there any aspect of it you wish more people noticed or appreciated when they watch a movie? Let's start with Grant.
Look, to me, the story gets told in so many different ways and so many different levels. The overt part of the story is, the words that the actors say or the characters say. But then, there's a sort of a deeper psychological thing that we really want to go to the movies to see and or to experience, the emotional connection between people and what have you. So, yeah, to me, the production design is so much to do with this sort of unspoken part of the story and the way that can sort of affect the audience's experience of the show.
How about you, Adam?
I don't know. I think that yeah, I think it is unspoken. I think that so much of what we do, it's not that you want somebody to notice a specific thing or a specific prop or a specific thing, but the sort of totality of it and it really affects the experience watching the movie, and so people are impacted by it even if they don't realize it or don't call it out. And so I think that when things are working best, they're working harmoniously. And so to me, I would just say if people are reacting well to the totality of what's in front of them, that's what you want, and you don't want to pull it apart and be always noticing individual pieces of it.
And how about you, Jon?
I think you hit it when you said, like, is there something that you want people to know? And I feel like I've done my job if you didn't notice what I did, and sometimes it's hard to make choices that don't call attention to the work. But it's funny, I was thinking as we were sitting here on Zoom, if you look at like Ina and Grant have because how people can change their Zoom backgrounds. Ina and Grant have like embraced and as you have. Adam has taken it completely to the other extreme. And I'm like, I'm just in this room that's between the kitchen and the living room. You know what I mean? That's my little office. But what I will say is that it sets a tone. It sets a tone. It's not about the words that we say. It's not about the content, but our job is to select the tone of that background in 3D.
And Ina?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, as much as we want to make a statement, it is important that it's not necessarily noticed. I want the audience to feel at home and just to get it right away what their life is. You want it to be a quick read. So you're like, okay, I see where they are. Oh, okay, I see what street they're on and how the journeys. And I just want it to be clear and really explain the characters quickly without, it is always nice if there's a notice of something, but to me, it's just an overall, again, comfort for everybody to be in these lives, the characters of the film.
And Jon, you mentioned everyone's Zoom backgrounds and sort of the embrace of the visual impact of it. Has any of your work influenced your own personal design aesthetic or the way you're comfortable in your own surroundings? Jon, how about you?
On Zoom or in real life?
Like in real life.
I'm the like classic the shoemaker's kids have holes in their shoe. That's me. Like I'm all about what I put in front of the camera for somebody else. And I'll like go like, oh, there's holes in my jeans or what, that's me. I will say, digressing from my current project, there is a website that you can go to called Nancy Meyer's Zoom Backgrounds. So I would like to think that my subtle contribution to the culture lives on in those kitchens that you can put behind you on Zoom. I should do that, right? I should have done that for this interview.
How about you, Ina? You have a magnificent
yeah.
background.
Well, first I started as a painter. Both my parents are painters. I started in theater. So, you know, there's a little bit of everything that I bring to all the films, my classic, you know, training, prop maker, scenic artist. So all of those things are kind of important to me. I love books, clearly. And I kind of need all of this, you know, it kind of feeds me. And there are times when it's like, oh God, it's too much. I need to get rid of some stuff. I mean, I've obviously enhanced it for the Zoom, but yeah, I love it all. I love getting back into the world of color and paint and objects and furniture. You know, it's just something that I bring to every project a different portion of what you're seeing behind me. You know, if it's more of a moody monochromatic thing, I think my world changes too. I like to surround myself with what my work is, actually. Even in my office, I have all my kind of stuff. It just constantly feeds me and reminds me of my creative journey, I guess.
Adam?
I'm with John. I don't unfortunately. I wish I did actually, but I don't. And I had high hopes for my Zoom background tonight. I really did, but then everything went sideways, and here I am in the office. So,
Grant?
Yeah, well, look, you know, it looks like I curated this, but in fact, this is where I work all the time, and it's just largely a collection of books, of course, but memorabilia. I do love collecting a piece of a movie that I've done, so I can carry it with me. And I must say, I lead my life. It's very obviously it's very design oriented, and I'm making design choices all the time about, you know, what I live with, and usually it's usually design over practicality in many ways. So, you know, it's often kind of an awkward choice, but I like the look of it. So I do love surrounding myself with things, because also it connects ideas together. Sometimes when you live in a lot of clutter, which I kind of do, you know, sometimes random objects kind of have a sort of frisson between them, and I can use ideas like that. So yeah, I mean, it's a design life. So here we go.
Now you've all done a wide variety of work, but like, if you had like the unlimited budget and resources, is there any kind of world that you would most love to create? Like, Grant, I know you've worked on some very large budget productions, but is there any kind of dream setting or project you'd love to work on?
You know, it's often money doesn't really come into it so much, I don't think. I mean, obviously, no, it does have a bearing on things, but it's the focus is on what does the film need, you know, and it's, you know, bigger isn't necessarily better. You know, I think that's it's usually just kind of this, you know, the way that things are tailored towards the project. So there's no particular thing that I'm wanting to do other than, you know, in terms of sci-fi or period or what have you, because it's, to me, they are tools that are to do with telling a story. And I'm a narrative designer. You know, it's all to do with kind of the choices that we make that bolster and you know, the very best for the narrative of the story.
How about you, Adam?
I agree. Like raising the budget just raises the number of problems, you know, so there are things you can do, but then a lot of other things get a lot harder. So I'd say not on that, but I think there's no one thing for me that like, oh, if I could just, you know, design that boat or that spaceship or that whatever, but I do love, you know, I think all of us would say this, what's so great is getting dropped into the deep end of the pool on something that you don't know anything about, and then you've got to figure it out. And there's just huge joy to that. So I really get excited by having no idea what's coming next.
Ina?
I have been happy with a lot of the variety of things I got to do. I mean, I do like the idea of sci-fi kind of. It's something I actually really, really enjoy. But it's true, the money thing, the more money you have, the more people you have, the more things to manage. And you really have to fall in love with the script, the story, the director. It's a kind of a total package. I really enjoy doing things that are different or difficult. I love the idea of figuring something out and learning about something and how can I solve this design problem. But it always does start with the story. I mean, we're like visual storytellers, and that's really what I want to do.
John?
I'm going to differ from my stoic colleagues. Show me the money. Like my experience is, if you give me 10, I want 20. If you give me 100, I want 200. And honestly, like, my process is, at least initially, not to be constrained by the number, because you figure out what it is and then you figure out how to realize the best version of that. And like, there are definitely earlier points in my career, like when I had done this string of contemporary romantic comedies with Nancy, and it was very hard for me to get asked to do other things. So there was a period of time when I really wanted to do anything that didn't take place in a beautiful contemporary house. And like now in pandemic, I'm doing my second movie in a row in Los Angeles for the first time in 15 years. And for me, at this moment, that and what I think we've all alluded to, which is like the project and the directors are what really drive me now. But I'll take a movie at home with a big budget, if we're ordering.
Thank you all for joining me today and for talking about your work. As always, it's so fascinating and exciting to get to talk to different people who've worked on different projects in different ways, and to hear how they go about their crafts. So it's been a pleasure talking to all of you. Thank you so much for joining me, and congratulations again on the excellent work that you've done.
Right.
Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Daniel. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.